Hi, and happy Friday to you. I'm Chuck Lofton again with Matt Standridge, and wow, what a weekend we are expecting. Of course, we've got a little bit of everything going on, from the NCAA championships, the Midwest regionals, to high school basketball, to just you cleaning up around the yard, right? And today's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
We'll get up into the 70s, but really, Matt, this is going to be a weekend of phases, right?
Yeah, lots of different weather headed our way for sure. One thing that we were waking up to was the upgrade in the severe risk. You can see the map behind you too. It's not every day that 3 days out we have that level 3 risk.
And that's about 90% of the state.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about this more in depth in just a moment, but let's take a look at the weekend as a whole. And of course, you can feel out there the temperatures picking up, and that's because of this warm breeze that's moving in here. 77 degrees for a Friday high. Saturday, then, we're going to experience periods of storm, periods of rain, still with temperatures in the 70s. And then Sunday is that severe weather risk. We call those days weather impact alert days. Now, here's kind of the bottom line as to what's happening. The subtropical jet stream, we used to call it the Pacific flow of the jet, is going to actually be to our north. Remember that technically we're still in March, but this is more like a May flow. Sometimes we get those May warm-ups and then the storms. Widespread above average temperatures from basically Columbus, Ohio to Indy, from Minneapolis down to St. Louis and Kansas City, and then out to Albuquerque, New Mexico. That is a huge area. And when you have that warm air and moisture is injected into the situation, you get rain, but not tonight. Tonight's going to be Chamber of Commerce weather for the NCAA Midwest Regionals at Lucas Oil Stadium. Kentucky and Tennessee and their fan bases will be in Lucas Oil Stadium tonight for that 7 o'clock tip. And then our Purdue Boilermakers take on Houston in the nightcap, which, as it looks right now, they're calling the perfect time for it to start 10:09, because that would allow the game to end, and then about 30 minutes after that. Temperatures are going to be awesome for the folks walking in. Chamber of Commerce weather in the 70s, and even after Purdue wins, it'll still be in the 60s. Speaking of basketball, the high school boys basketball, the IHSAA state finals at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, and we're just going to experience great games. 10:30 a.m., Clinton Prairie, the Gophers take on Orleans. And then in the second game, Manchester and University, South Bend St. Joe in the 3A against our Crispus Attucks team from Indy. And the Tigers from Fishers take on Jeffersonville. That will be a barn burner. Now, all of the games start at 10:30, 12:45, 6, and then 8:15. So you're talking about an exit time of about 10 o'clock from that. And you know, we're going to see some scattered showers. I do not think this is going to be an all-day rain. However, we will have plenty of rain, and really the deeper you go into the day, the more likely we are to get totally wet, which means if you're going to the 11 game, the Indy 11 home opener against Colorado Springs, if you saw us Friday morning, early this morning on Sunrise, we were talking about that with Zeke, the mascot. Yeah, you may have to dodge some raindrops there, but because we're not expecting really thunderstorms, this game probably gets in even if there's drizzle and some light showers. Now let's talk about the day. Of course, it's beautiful out there right now, 77 our high, and wow, here comes the change. This is 8 p.m. Saturday. Now, the deeper we go into the afternoon, this will start from the south, move to the north, and widespread, basically light rain and drizzle on Saturday night. Then we have a shakeup in the atmosphere. Cold front's going to move in. Let me tell you, this is a cold front, because in back of it, well, and to the north of a warm front to our north and a cold front, way up here, Minnesota, we're talking about snow. But we will get showers and thunderstorms out of this. And I'm going to, show you the 7 day as a whole, and then Matt's going to take more specifically what's going to happen Sunday. But 77 today, 72 with those scattered showers, then rain and storms 74 with that weather impact alert in place. And Matt, is going to be so cold in back of that we will have a high of 48 on Monday. But it does bear worth watching Sunday and the forecast for that.
Yeah, Sunday is that primary severe threat that's going to be coming on in, and there could be a couple different windows. And I tell you what, if we do have any storm damage that we have to clean up, there late Sunday night and into Monday morning, you're going to feel the cold air. In fact, we can see this next storm system, couple different aspects to it. We've got some more moisture developing over the Ozarks, the Ouachitas, and the southern plains. We're going to pump some of that in for the weekend. We've got more disturbances off towards the west. Look at how wrapped up this low pressure is. So that is the heart of our storm system, but a couple of these are kind of combining into one big wave that's going to push through primarily on Sunday. So we wanted to take a closer look at some of these severe zones. Chuck was just talking about warm front to the north, cold front to the west. And so we're what's called that warm sector. This is where the air will be warm. It's going to have a lot of humidity with it too. We've been noticing the temperatures jump throughout the day and the humidity will continue to jump with that south wind. We've got the different colors. You can see the scale. Green, level 1. Yellow, level 2. Level 3 in the orange. And that does include 90% of the state. It actually goes as far south as northern Louisiana. So all of central Indiana is under that severe risk, potentially up to that level 3, which is also called enhanced risk. You may see a couple different things online as you're looking ahead for the weekend. But here's what we think. We think we're probably going to get some scattered showers Sunday morning, especially in eastern and southern Indiana. Those don't look severe, but we'll start off the day just a little bit wet. Those will get out of here. We'll have some breaks throughout the day. A big question will be the Sunday afternoon. In fact, Chuck was showing you, remember that cluster he's kind of showing you crossing the state line? We could have some clusters of storms. That means there's breaks in between. Not everyone's getting one, but we could have some pop-up storms in the afternoon. The problem with those is that if we're warm in the 70s, maybe you get a couple breaks of some sun, you're destabilizing the atmosphere, getting it ready for thunderstorms. Some of these clusters could have some hail, and there could also be a tornado risk. Now, once those are out of here, hit or miss, not everyone gets one. I think some of us will not even get a raindrop throughout parts of the afternoon. Later into the evening and overnight hours, that's when the front that Chuck was talking about swings on through, and that's when we think a line of thunderstorms will march on through. Now, with that part of the storm, we'll probably have gusty winds, and there could be some spin-up tornadoes along the leading edge. Very similar to what we have seen throughout the month of March. Remember, for the month of March, so far, and also for the total for 2025, we've had 14 tornadoes confirmed by the National Weather Service across the entire state. And those were due to lines pushing on through with little spin-ups there along the leading edge. So that's something that we'll be watching. The impacts, I think there's going to be breezy weather throughout the whole weekend. That's why we're going to be well into the 70s, even though average highs this time of year, upper 50s. But we've got potential for heavy rain. I'm not sure if we'll have quite enough for some localized flash flooding from a widespread perspective, but there could be a little bit of flooding here and there. But really, we get into the damaging wind risk with that line coming on through. Also, some of these scattered storms could also have kind of brief downbursts with some wind. There could also be some tornadoes, and there could be some large hail, especially the large hail with the afternoon storms. Normally with the line of storms, you don't get as much of the hail. You get more of the wind and possibly some spin-up tornadoes. So what we want to do is get you ready for the weekend, because here's the thing. Not everyone is going to get a severe storm. We think everyone's going to get some rain and some thunder at some point, but not necessarily all the way up to severe threats. But as we're a few days out, we kind of have a larger severe zone, and as we work closer to Sunday, we'll be able to give you more information on what maybe parts of Indiana have a little bit of a higher risk. This is just kind of a heads up as we look towards the weekend, and like Chuck was talking about, it is such a busy weekend this weekend across central Indiana. So many good sports taking place, a lot of basketball, of course, but make sure you know your safety plan with your family, and then also have a way to get alerts. And I tell you what, the weather team, we're on standby all weekend long. We're going to have several updates on WTHR Plus. Sometimes if maybe we don't have tornado warnings, we just want to kind of give you a sense of what is happening with these thunderstorms. We're going to have live coverage on that at WTHR Plus, so tune in there. When we get back to the threats, though, Chuck and I were looking. We really think it's high winds will be that primary threat that a lot of folks can get. Then we get tornadoes. There is a medium threat, but not everyone's going to get, of course, a tornado, right? You only have a couple pockets of those. Large hail will have a widespread threat, but not everyone will have the hail. So wind would probably be the threat that most people get. The question is, how breezy will those winds be? We're still kind of working on those. Flooding will be a lower risk. We're going to get a good wave of rain, but then we will start to dry out with that colder air Chuck was talking about on the backside. So the weather setup, like we were talking about, snow and ice to the north, warm, juicy flow coming in from the Gulf, and that's what's being used in order to create some of these thunderstorms. So here's Futuretrack 13. We're starting there late Saturday night. We'll have some scattered showers Saturday night and into your Sunday morning. Those don't look severe. Temperatures mainly holding in the 60s. Once we get some of these scattered showers out of the way Sunday morning, we get into the afternoon. Here's 3 o'clock. Maybe a couple sun breaks. There could be a couple pop-up storms. We'll be watching. We could see some clusters here and there. After the afternoon, we'll start to get more of this line starting to form. Here's 9 o'clock into 10 o'clock. We'll watch this wave come on through. Now, here's also the thing. We're a few days out. So the timing on this can change just a little bit. And it's crazy how small changes in the direction of the low pressure and the timing of the system and the angle that it's going at can all play a difference in who gets the strongest thunderstorms. But we do think throughout the day on Sunday, especially the second half of the day, especially afternoon, evening, and into the overnight hours, you just need to make sure that you're more weather aware. Once the storms really get out of here, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you'll wake up with Chuck and Lindsay and they'll be showing you the cooler air that's going to be rushing in on the backside. There may be some snow flurries up towards Chicago. I'm not sure here. We'll see. We'll be cold though that morning. We'll have temperatures in the 40s and maybe a stray lingering shower in the morning. But big day on Sunday. We've got session 2 at Lucas Oil. Got a lot going on this weekend. We've got a weather impact alert. That's what's in this red for Sunday. So we're going to have a lot of updates as we get closer. Big front on the way. We've had severe weather so far this year, and we're likely to continue that trend as we get into the second half of the weekend. Make sure you stay with us as we get those updates coming in. But it's not every day that you get a level 3 severe threat across much of Indiana. That's what's in place for Sunday. That may be adjusted as we get a little bit closer. Make sure you keep it here. Keep it local. As always, we'll keep you advised.